This is Mahalia Hiltz, and I'm excited to invite you into the dream and design phase of my appreciative inquiry. Let's start out by looking at what my appreciative inquiry topic is. The Banning Lewis Preparatory Academy staff can create a foundational and unified identity by finding and developing shared community values and fostering trust. During the discovery phase, I was able to look at the positive core themes around community unity, and I'll share just a couple of those. Trust, team building, intentionality, individual relationships, and opportunities for vulnerability. Some of the challenges that I was able to identify were high employee turnover and lack of diversity on staff. However, I think that by choosing intentionality when it comes to forming our relationships and fostering unity, we are able to overcome those challenges. My provocative propositions for this particular appreciative inquiry have to do with the three different design elements that I've chosen. Design element 1 is value creation. And value creation says that we as a community are going to work together to identify what common values that we already have. Because as a community that's working towards similar goals of educating and supporting children, we have many things that we already agree upon, and we just need to come to a place where we've stated those clearly. Design element number 2 is community trust, and I believe that that can be done by designating time to share stories, time where people are allowed to be vulnerable and share their experiences. The last element is intentionality, and I think that can be demonstrated by allocating resources that are specifically put towards those community building endeavors. The strategic design elements for each of these themes have to do with practical steps that I think that can be taken. So for value creation, I think that if we use the Flippin model to create a social contract, a staff social contract, that would help us all to identify those common values that we have, because if that's done with fidelity, it can be really successful, though as some research has shown, without fidelity, it doesn't have the same level of impact. But if it's being continually referenced by staff and leadership, hopefully it's something that can help bring us together. For the element of community trust, I believe that good and well-researched team-building strategies can be used to help create those areas of trust. So opportunities for people to share their stories, and leadership being really intentional and looking for diversity in the individuals they choose for that story sharing time, I think both can add elements of community trust and really building that possibility for vulnerability and therefore for trusting one another by sharing stories. And last but not least, I have the design element for intentionality, and because this one is a little bit more of a difficult thing to put your finger on, I looked at ways that we could show intentionality, especially the leadership could show intentionality. One way I think is by specifically budgeting for opportunities for community building. Another way would be continually referencing the social contract, having time and space designated for the continuation of this process of team building and of creation for community, so that it's not just something that happens at the start of the year, but it's something that is continuous throughout the entire school year, making it clear that it's a priority and that the leadership are intentionally choosing to focus on this element. My ability to add to this from a professional development perspective has to do with my own personal experience in schools that are using the Capturing Kids' Hearts Flippin' model. I've created several social contracts, both with staffs and with students, and I've led teams that have used this with fidelity and teams that have not used it with fidelity. I've been on those teams as well, and I've seen that with fidelity, this social contract can be an absolutely fantastic addition to help build community and really articulate what kind of values we share together. I believe that those elements that I have experienced help me in pursuing this particular appreciative inquiry. Here are my references. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about the dream and design phase of my inquiry, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thank you.